Hello and welcome once again to that most auspicious time of the week. It is Wednesday, so we are once again talking about Project Caesar as we have the 17th Tinto talks. As always, if you would like to stay informed and up to date with everything to do with Project Caesar, then this is the best place for it. And it's clearly a win-win. If you click the subscribe button, you stay up to date and informed, and I get a sub. It's clearly win-win. We should all do this. Before we go into the Tinto talk, though, other than getting all of that out of the way, I just want to point out this artwork. And I feel like this is maybe the first time I've really seen many telltale signs of AI-ness in the artwork. I know there's been people pointing out, oh, this is AI and this is AI and AI is the death of the world and all that. This is the first time I've really seen any telltale signs, and that mostly on this guy's right hand, this lady's left hand, and her right hand. Honestly, this is the first time that I've really seen the telltale signs, and I do know that Paradox has started to use AI art a little bit more. Generally, what I think they've been doing is having AI as the base layer and then having an actual artist cover over the top of that, or use it as reference, or use it as a jumping off point to create more of the artwork. I just feel like they didn't really go hard enough on this one. Yeah, like I said, the telltale signs are a little bit too prevalent for my tastes. And hopefully that will be worked on before release. But with that out of the way, let us get into the Tinto talk itself. We'll get more further information about the most secret game you could ever think of. The one with the codename Project Caesar. Today we're going to delve into the depths and mechanics of how... Wait, delve? This was written by AI. No, I'm joking. Depths and mechanics of how the population system of the game actually works. And look, last week we were told that we were going to be learning about migration. My guys, this is very much more than just migration. Having information about the population system of the game in general is a lot more than just migration. So certainly this dev diary is both very long and also kind of jam-packed, which is a little bit in contrast to the past couple of dev diaries. So I'm looking forward to it. As a recap, we have 6 different social classes: nobles, clergy, and burghers, viewed as the upper class, with peasants, tribesmen, and slaves making up the other 3. Every location has a population, and each combination of social class, culture, and religion creates a unique pop in the game. That pop may contain 1 person or 250 million, but it's still referred to as an pop. Here we have a design copied from an old game he made about a decade or 2 ago. The UI is a bit placeholdery, but he likes the browsing capabilities. And if we look at this, people will instantly recognize an game. They will recognize, for sure with the table on the left, Victoria 2. Like, honestly, this is very, very Victoria 2-esque. And I am totally happy with that. That's perfectly fine to me. That the population table in Victoria 2, which we can actually look at here, it does its job. It does its job. It looks a little dated, but it does its job. It shows you all of the information that you need. And maybe I'll just hide my face just a moment so you can see it. You get to know, the size of each pop, where they are, what their feelings are, so their consciousness and their militancy, their needs, whether they're being fulfilled, literacy, and all of that good stuff. This is a perfect UI if what you want is information. And that seems like what we are going to get here. What we want is information. So how many of the pop there are, what is their social class, what is their religion, what is their culture, what location they are in. And I believe this is on the location end, not the provincial end. I'm not sure what the percentage is. That is under whatever this symbol is, but I guess we'll figure out what that means at some point. Maybe what pop, how filled their pop needs are potentially. Something to do with culture, and then whether they are happy or not. And these guys are all loyal. And at the top, you can see the breakdown of the entire country, I think, which is, yeah, I mean, it works. It just simply works. Well, it can't be the breakdown of the entire country because 608. Actually, no, it would be 618,000 in Sweden entirely, and then if you add these up, that's what we're getting as well. So, yeah, I am perfectly happy with what we're seeing here for the population table. Like I say, if you are a fan of Victoria 2, you'll recognize this and you'll be able to understand it, which is perfect. Population capacity. Each location has a population capacity which depends on quite a lot of factors. The core of it is vegetation, topography, and climate, while the amount of buildings and development increases it as well. If your population is higher than its current capacity, then there's a very large impact on its migration, attraction, and population growth. While there are no restrictions on how many peasants, slaves, or tribesmen there can be in a single location, the amount of upper-class pops there can be is limited, and depends on what infrastructure there exists for that type of pop. Of course, if their estates have money, they tend to want to construct buildings that increase how many they are to further increase their power in the country. There are reasons why you'd want upper-class pops and not just always creating an egalitarian all-or-peasant society, and that is when the capital economy developing during this era depends heavily on the burghers, so you want to have a fair amount of those. You also want the clergy in your national religion, as they will help with stability, and having nobles of proper culture will help with your diplomacy and warfare. It's really good that all of the different types of pops or the strata they all have their own role, right? It's not just a case of I am going to play this game and we're just going to focus on getting as many burgers as possible and screw the rest of them. We're just going to go full burgerage. But if you do that, then you're going to have troubles with stability. We know also that clergy is very impactful on literacy. Not having nobles you're going to struggle with diplomacy and warfare. So they are each having their own role. They're not there for no reason. So this is good to see. And here we have levies raised from a specific class, reduce the maximum population there can be in a certain class. But the population capacity of Kalmar for the burghers, and this is the amount that you are allowed to raise for them. So that's 1,100, and then the levies raised means that it's going down by 275. Very nice. Maybe it would be nice if there was a total here somewhere, so you wouldn't have to do the maths, but it's fine. There can be more pops of a certain social class. Pops will promote to become that class over time. While there is a base value, promoting to some classes like nobles will just be a fraction of that each month. If you wish to speed this up in your country, you can use a cabinet member to increase it. There are many factors that impact how quickly pops can be promoted. Some are affecting your entire country, some are more local, like during the devastation or a lack of control. Demotion happens when you have pops over your capacity and will happen much, much quicker than promotion. So nobles getting demoted to peasants if there is too many nobles in a place for their capacity. That seems reasonable. Pop promotion was one of the most impactful modifiers in Imperator Rome, and it was one of the modifiers that you really wanted to be on top of and have a large amount of. So I can see it being the case here as well. So control is definitely a big impact on this. Literacy of peasants, positive stability, etc. is impacting it as well. 16 peasants will be promoted every month to become what is needed in Kalmar. So I guess that's 10 with these modifiers. It goes to 16. All right then. Thankfully, I don't need to do the math on that one. Population growth. Only peasants and tribesmen grow organically on their own. Okay then, that is interesting. But all types of pops can die off from negative growth. Overpopulation, lack of food, war exhaustion, and devastation have a significant negative impact on population growth, while having access to free land and lots of food increases the growth. Not to forget, the population can die directly from diseases and warfare as well. This is huge. Only peasants and tribesmen are growing organically on their own. So this makes the pop promotion modifier like massively impactful. You can only grow peasants and then promote them into, your burghers, your clergy, your nobility. That is huge. That's a really interesting way of going about it. Because in Imperator, population growth, you could grow nobles. You could grow your citizens. You could grow your freemen. These were not locked off. You didn't have to promote into them. So I like this a lot. That is very cool. Peaceful and nice, the population could grow nicely here in Kalmar of a plus whatever percentage, 50.53% growth. Whether that's 0.53 of the entire population of Kalmar will grow over time or what, I don't know. Can we even check the population of Kalmar? Is that one of the ones we see here? It is not. Okay, so we can't check. But yeah, certainly that is a number that we don't really have too much context for yet. Assimilation is a very slow process, and pops will assimilate to the primary culture in core locations if they belong to a culture your country does not appreciate. Societal values and lack of control have a significant impact on this, but there are buildings and other things that can impact it. Most majorly populated areas, the natural growth of pops will outpace the assimilation. However, there is a cabinet action where you can increase assimilation in a specific province. Okay, this is the one that I'm slightly worried about. So, I think that there have been a lot of people saying that, culture conversion shouldn't be in the game because it wasn't really that impactful of a thing during the period outside of certain areas, and just you can look to many places in the world where a minority culture has completely survived and thrived even in the face of oppression and in the face of being subsumed into a larger empire. And that's true. But also this is a game, so I think assimilation should be in the game purely because of the gameplay value of it, and making it so that it is fun. It is nice to map paint, whether that is your country's color or your culture. And while I agree that assimilation should be a thing, having pops assimilate only to the primary culture is maybe not what I would have wanted. Having pops assimilate to the majority culture in a location, I would be much, much happier with, because then say you are Sweden, because we got Sweden going on here. Maybe pops could convert to Finnish in Finland, and you accept Finnish, so it's not going to do any harm to you. Because that's kind of what's happened, right? The Finns who live in the Swedish-speaking regions of Finland today are not Swedish. They are Finnish. And I have personal experience with that. They are not Swedish people. They are Finnish people. They just speak Swedish. Maybe the language could stick around, or maybe, I don't know. I feel like there could be a little bit more of a little bit more of depth into the assimilation system than just having people assimilate to the primary culture. I suppose it is only in core locations. We do know that cores are coming back, though in what capacity we don't actually know yet. Is it going to be the case where every province needs to have a core, like in EU4, or are core locations going to be something a lot more limited? We don't know yet. So I think we need to learn what this is first. Moving on, though, to conversion. Converting pops works similarly to assimilation, but there are two major differences. First of all, there are mechanics and systems that sometimes change the religion of pops from what your country may desire. Secondly, there are normally no conversion, but you have to actively enforce religious conversion in a province by using a cabinet. The amount of the population that converts each month depends on what type of buildings you may have, your societal values, laws you can enact, or the privileges given to the clergy. If your clergy is very powerful as well, conversion is quicker. Alright, so it looks like we have missionaries from EU4 that have been basically subsumed into the cabinet system. So if you want to, you will be able to use your two cabinet ministers at the start of the game to start religious conversion in provinces. Later on, that will go to 8 to 10. So I guess you're going to probably be pretty happy with that. But it's not a case of, your cabinet minister goes to a province and after, 5 years or whatever it ends up being, the entire province is now your religion. That's just not a thing. What we're seeing is a much more granular, converting of pops over time. So if you get to 99% of your missionary, activity in EU4 and then stop, 0% of that province is now the religion you want. Whereas here, if you get to 99% and you stop, 99% of those pops are going to be the religion you want. I'm happy with that for sure. But having it depend on what type of buildings you have, societal values and laws, etc., it's good. It's a lot better than we have in EU4 for sure. On to migration. There are several ways for pops to migrate, multiple ones regarding the colonization aspect of the game that will be talked about in the later Tinto talks. Very much looking forward to learning about colonization. I'm not a big fan of it in EU4. I think it definitely can be done better. I'm looking forward to seeing how much better it will be done. There's also content that does migration, where events, disasters, and other scripted content will set up specific migrations from one place to another. However, there's also natural migration mechanic, where the population will move between locations. Pops will move away from locations that have a negative migration attraction and go to one with a higher migration attraction in the same market. Okay, so having them need to be in the same market is interesting. Upper class pops are usually allowed to migrate, while not many countries allow their peasants to move freely. Okay. As for other things, you can use your cabinet control to control this, where you can have one member of the cabinet leading an effort to expel people from one province, severely reducing their migration attraction, while another one could attract people to another province. You can also construct buildings in lowly populated locations to attract pops to move there. I like that. That's cool. I feel like this is very much similar to what we have in Imperator, which is not a bad system. It is not a bad system by any means. I will say, though, I really hope they avoid the pitfall that Imperator fell into, where megacities were the meta, let's say. Where you have a bunch of buildings in a huge city that increase the productivity, the efficiency, etc., of the population within that city, and then with high enough migration, all the pops from everywhere around would migrate to that city, and you would end up with a single city with 150, 200 population, and then complete desolation everywhere else. It was a really toxic style of gameplay, both in single player and multiplayer. I really, really didn't like it. And I hope that that's not going to be the case here. I hope megacities are not going to be the meta, because it's just not, for me at least, it's not fun. It's not what I want to see. But yeah, migration attraction of Kalmar, we got a really small base value. The market price of the raw materials having an effect as well. Very interesting. The development, which is, if you played Imperator, it's your civilization value. It basically determines how much capacity a location can have, and it being called development is just the word that is being used for it, really. Available free land is also very interesting as well. I'm not sure we've really learned about what this even means. Maybe it's available free land could be the population capacity of a location minus its population. And then whatever, like if there is a gap between that, that would be available free land. That makes sense to me, actually. Literacy. Every pop keeps track of its own literacy as well. There are buildings, advances, laws, and other things that impact how quickly it can grow and how high it can be. The average literacy of a country has an impact on the research speed of that country, and the literacy of a pop has some impact on its satisfaction. However, there's also an immediate impact on the location of the average literacy of all the same social class. Among other things, the average literacy of the nobles in a location has an impact on how quickly control can increase there. Okay. Average literacy of the slaves increases the unrest of the location. Oh, that's very interesting indeed. Definitely seeing, having literacy of various different classes having a different effect is very, very interesting. Average literacy of the clergy could mean, your pop converts faster when you're using the conversion, or maybe even assimilation. That would be really cool. I like it. Average literacy of burghers increases your tax income from trade. That would be really, really cool. I like that a lot. So the current literacy of the burghers in Kalmar, so it changes due to the written alphabet being a thing. Maximum literacy is 13% only. Wow. So this is the reasons why: innovativeness, written alphabet, and religious teachings. And it gives you monthly development and Burger's trade capacity. Okay, maybe I should have read this before I speculated up here. But that's very cool. I like it. Each population has its own needs for goods. We're getting definitely into the Vicky kind of esque era of the population system. But I mean, I'm totally fine with taking the best elements of the various different games. Like, I don't care that this is a very Vicky system. I don't care that, characters are a very CK system. I don't care that, literacy is Vicky or that migration is very imperative. I don't care. I just want the best systems to be in this game so that it will be the best game it possibly can be. I don't think mechanics should be unique to games because it's, just because it's their game. Like, I don't agree with that at all. But yeah, I'm looking at this. Looks great. If they can't get all of these goods, their satisfaction would be lower. The goods that a pup requires depends on their social class, their culture, their religion, and where they live. They may also start caring about goods when they know about them, such as the demand for tobacco will only appear in Europe when the pups actually only know about it. Obviously, people in colder climates want more lumber or coal, while a Jane pup is not wanting any fur at all. Alright, so the population of Visby, I'm pretty sure that's on Gotland, like the island of Gotland. They lack some wine, so they want a little bit of wine, but everything else of their needs is covered. And we're getting a bunch of the symbols. We now know what all these symbols are. I'm not sure why the burgers need mercury. Sure, I guess. Maybe they're making some thermometers or something. We have jewelry there, fine cloth, paper, salt, sugar. Apparently they know of sugar in 1337. Okay. I guess, yeah, sugar cane was grown in Egypt as well. So, yeah, that makes sense. We got fish, wheat, and then at the bottom we have livestock. Not entirely sure why these burgers want mercury. Yeah, I said that. I didn't read that before I said that, but yay. Okay. Satisfaction. The population needs impact their satisfaction in two ways. If they can't get the goods that they want, it's a penalty to their satisfaction. However, the prices of the goods also affect their satisfaction, as if the prices are too high, then satisfaction drops. But if you can get the goods they require cheaper in the market that they live in, their satisfaction will increase. But their literacy impacts how much they understand the price impact, though. This is deep. This is very, very deep. Satisfaction also depends heavily on the structure of their culture in the country, the religion they belong to, and how satisfied their estate currently is. There are also other ways to make pups more satisfied, like certain buildings or the good old method of stationing armies. Pups with low satisfaction will join and start supporting a rebel faction. How low do you need to get, though, before that happens? So in Kalmar, they lack beer, so their satisfaction is going down, but all of the other things making it go up get them to 75%. I'm not sure these numbers add up to 75%. But okay, never mind. If a pup satisfaction is below 17, the pup will join a rebel. It'll become loyal again if satisfaction rises above 29. Okay, this is interesting as well. These numbers are not static, right? I'm pretty sure this number of 17 is changed based on various laws and technology, etc. Because this is kind of similar to how we have Imperator, where your Civil War threshold or your is basically determined by various things. 17 does not seem like, enough of a round number where this is a solid breakpoint. I think this is a point that is being acted upon by various means. Especially, 29.75 is when they become loyal again. Okay, sure. Of course, these poor pups lack one of the most important things in life. Yeah, of course, beer, naturally. Even though pups may not be upset enough to rebel, their satisfaction has other impacts, as the average satisfaction of all pups in a location has an impact on prosperity and control. So average satisfaction of 75% is due to it all being 75%, sure. And it has the effect of prosperity going down at 75, max control going down by a little bit, and then institution growth going up. So satisfaction goes up based on, it looks like basically 10 times, whatever the satisfaction is, divided by 10 is the institution growth, which that's fine. Even the paradox math checks out. Yeah, I mean, sure, okay. Next week, we're talking about laws. Okay. Right, what do I think of this dev diary? I think this is the meatiest one we've had in quite some time, which is honestly really nice to see. It's been a while. I'm also kind of fine with this UI design. I know that a lot of people are saying that it is too clean, that it is too... well, yeah, I mean, clean is basically the correct word for it. I think if they changed the font of this, maybe to have some serifs in there, it would be going over a lot better, I think. But otherwise, I don't mind the UI look, especially if we look at this one up here. Like, it does look clean. It does look very, I mean, especially this gradient on the bars. But it looks workable. It looks like you will be able to, get the information you need easily. Is it too clean? I mean, when you look at EU4, I feel like it is also pretty clean. It's, I don't know. I don't think I have the vocabulary to really describe my feelings towards the UI. Maybe I will leave that to someone like Father Loris or Agamade. It'd be nice to maybe get their thoughts on it. But I'm warming up to it, is what I'll say. But yeah, as for all of the mechanics themselves, I think we're seeing a lot of the influence of Imperator, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think a lot of these mechanics are looking at promotion, the growth, the assimilation, the migration attraction especially. It looks like it's taken directly from Imperator, and I'm really happy about that because it is a good system. And again, if a game has a good system in the paradox sphere of games, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking it, using it, utilizing those mechanics to make EU5 as good as it possibly can be. And I hope that you guys agree with that, honestly. I don't think there is any real reason to gatekeep mechanics behind a franchise. Really, I really don't. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I do read them all and respond to a fair few as well. And if you like this video, feel free to click the like button. If you have any comments and thoughts on the dev diary, I will also be leaving a link to the dev diary in the description. Maybe I'll do it in a pinned comment as well. And yeah, we can get this discussion going. But without any more ado, I think I used that word at the start of the video. Probably shouldn't have done it twice, but whatever. Subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date and informed about everything coming out of Paradox Tinto. And I will see you on Friday for the map of Anatolia. Bye-bye.